Thank you, thank you. All right, welcome. Come on in, have a seat. Relax. Open your hearts, open your minds. We're gathered here today to experience a greater experience of our spiritual truth, our spiritual oneness with each other, with the infinite, and with all the good. And over here to my right is the lovely Chris Eagle. The lovely and talented Chris Eagle, who was our service leader today. And we just want to say hello to the people at home on Facebook and YouTube, wherever you're watching us. Welcome. We're glad to have you here. We're just going to take a moment and really connect with you. We're one with you. You're one with us. We're all creating this experience together. All right. And so as Chris lights the divine light candle, I invite you to say our opening invocation, which is on the sheet in the seat back in front of you, if you don't yet know that. Let's take a moment to find that. And take a moment to connect in your heart. Breathe into that heart space for a moment. Together, there is only one presence and one power active in the universe and in my life. God, the good omnipotence. We just breathe that in, let that settle in our bones, let it settle in our hearts, anchoring ourselves in the awareness of this omnipresent good, which we can never be separate from, this omnipresent love. Thank you, Spirit, and so it is.
I surrender. I trust and I know. As I surrender, I fall into the arms of love. I surrender. I trust and I know. As I surrender, I fall into the arms of love. I fall into the arms of love.
Feeling that movement of the music down to the tips of your toes, I invite you to invite your smart devices to become wise and quiet before we enter meditation. And if it's possible, clear your laps of anything that might not want to be there in this moment, in this sense, in this space. Becoming present, the present. If it's comfortable, close your eyes or gaze softly down and exhale. And just feel your breath, how it moves through. And there's this natural inclination to inhale. So allow your body to run its course. It has wisdom in every last cell of your body, physically represented by intricate DNA and RNA, but is so much more vastly powerful than that physical representation. Feel that wisdom that is within you, surrounds you, that is you. And feel how it is divinely orchestrated together. In the macrocosm, your heart, your blood, your lungs, your oxygen, your exchange with carbon dioxide, moving through you, digestion, all these things that happen automatically. magically in your body. So just allow and observe all of those processes, just moving you through time. Muscles, bones, nerves, so many things that are there that you didn't have to think into creation. And those thoughts that might be running through your head, those are divine too. And they have their place. Just let them find their place. Your only job right now is to observe. Feel, sense, perhaps see the edges of your body. And then sense a little more. So that with every breath, you're expanding a little bit more into your experience. Because your experience doesn't stop at your body. Your experience goes much, much, much further out. So let yourself feel that experience in this space and beyond, in all of the people and all of the animals and all of the plants and all of the things that comprise this entire earth. So just be with it all in the silence. Inside this ever-present now, if there are any people, places, or situations that don't yet feel like they have joined this space and time, would you call them softly aloud, inviting them in? These two are not only surrounded, but are made of the same essence. And by you invoking them, you invite them, remind them into this space and time of the ever-present now. Your body's in there too. So take a few moments and bring your body into that. Bring your experience back to your body, whichever way works best for you. When you're ready, you can open your eyes, perhaps wiggle fingers and toes. And if you want to stretch, be mindful of anyone nearby. For those of you live streaming, that might be pets. And would you take a moment, and you have multitudes of opportunities, whether you're in this room or live streaming, of connecting with your eyes with at least 2 other divine beings. All right. Now we're ready. And what are we ready for? Everything. Would you join me with our vision and mission, which is on the order of service, if you don't yet know it? And let's really feel it and say it together. Our vision: we envision the divine light awakening in all. Our mission: we center in peace and love. We connect in our hearts with others. We celebrate our journey towards wholeness, and we empower others to experience their spiritual magnificence. And so it is. Should have been a sign interpreter, but anyways, I am going to hand it over to our wonderful special musician, Ernest. Thank you.
Sing out, wanna be free, be free. There's a million things to be, you know that at heart. Wanna live high, live high. Wanna live low, live low. Million ways to go, I know there are. Anything you can do, if you find a new way, you can do anything. You can be all true. You see, it's easy. You only need to know. Wanna say yes, say yes. Wanna say no, say no. Million things to do, I know you know. Wanna sing out, sing out. Wanna be free, be free. Million things to do, so you see. up to you. Anything you do, if you find a new way, you can do it today. You can make it all true. Make it undo. You see, it's easy. It's only you only need to know, to know, to know, you know, you know.
Thank you, Ernest, for reminding us of the power of choice, right? That power of choice is so good. Good morning. You all came out on this cold, blustery day. Yay. And hello there. Those of you who are live streaming, welcome. So the theme this month is release. Let's take a nice deep breath to go. You got it. That's it. We're releasing. It's also November, so that's our month of gratitude. So certainly there is joy and appreciation in releasing old beliefs, old ideas that are holding us back from living fully and completely. So we can tie those two together. And so I thought I'd start in a little different place today. How many of you have heard of Plato's cave allegory? Yeah, a few of you? Yeah, oh good, yeah. Yeah, well, for those of you who haven't, or just as a reminder, 2,400 or so years ago, right? Plato came up with this interesting idea to teach his students about how illusions very often substitute for truth. And so the idea is that there is a cave, a dark cave, and there are some prisoners who are chained up in this dark cave, and they're sort of, their heads are braced so they can only see forward. They can't turn their heads around. And then behind them is a fire that, adds some warmth and light into the cave. And between the fire and the prisoners, there's a walkway. And people who are working there walk back and forth all day, carrying objects. And so think about it, what are the prisoners seeing? The shadows. They're seeing because the light hits the people, and all they're seeing are the shadows on the wall. They can't turn around and see that it's a person making that. So, and as shadows are projected, they get elongated, they get distorted, but because they've been there all of their lives since childhood, they don't know anything else. They think this is real. Like, this is reality. The shadows are reality. I mean, they have nothing to compare it to, no frame of reference. So this is what reality is to them. So Plato's mentor, Socrates, takes this allegory a step further, and he offers this idea that, okay, so what if one of the prisoners were released from this cave? Suddenly, unchained, released from the cave. Well, first of all, if they've been down there for all of their lives, there must be like moles. Their eyes would not be able to adjust right away to the bright light. So it was like they'd be blinded when they walked into the sunlight. So they couldn't even open their eyes at first. And so it would take a little while for them to adjust to the brightness. And then when they finally open their eyes and they see a real human being, it's like, what is this? It just must be mind-blowing, and they might be a little frightened at first, a little disoriented. And then after a while, once they relax into the awareness that this is real. Not only are they seeing people, but they're seeing trees and flowers, and they're hearing birds singing, and water, and rivers, and the sky with clouds and stars and the sun. And so they're going to want to go back and tell their buddies who are still prisoners in the cave about this new reality, the actual reality. They're going to tell them, oh, the shadows, that's not reality. That's, if this is just shadows, you don't know. It's a whole other world out there. How do you think the buddies are going to react to that? How do your fundamentalist relatives behave or respond when you tell them about unity or new thought? Kind of about that same way, right? So they're going to think he's nuts. And first of all, because his eyes are adjusted to the light when he goes back into the cave, it's going to take a while for him to get readjusted to the dark, and they're going to think he's blinded. So he's been hurt, he's been blinded. I don't want to go with him. Not only that, but he is nuts. I'm not going. And so Socrates explains that this is how philosophers, which is kind of their word for, those who are awakened, those who see a higher reality. This is what it's like. It's like the freed prisoner who comes to realize that the world of shadows, it's just an illusion. And that there's a brighter, different reality. They see a higher level of reality. And meanwhile, the inmates in the cave, don't even want to leave their prison, right? No, that's all they know. They can't see a better world. And they're probably frightened and suspicious of anything other than what they already know. So we can see this illusion, this allegory, in terms of the illusion of separation. The illusion of separation. The majority of humanity is imprisoned in a belief of separation, that we are only human, that this three-dimensional world is all that there is. And then when somebody dies, that's it, they're just gone. The belief that God is outside of them and that he is capricious, answers some people's prayers and not others. Their reality is that they're separate from others. Others are different, either inferior to them or superior to them. Their reality is that they're separate from their good, and therefore are living in a world of lack and limitation and must struggle and compete, in order to get their share. For most people, their reality is that they are, victims of the winds of fate, victim of circumstance, powerless. And they either need to adjust to the idea that they're powerless or forcibly take power from someone else. Is that kind of how we see a lot of the world? Not here. Not you. But it's kind of how, that seems like reality. But is it just shadows in a dark cave? The illusion is the dark cave where we believe the shadows are real. But the shadows are only reflections of our fearful thinking. They're only reflections of our fearful thinking. And when we're introduced to a new idea that there's a whole other world of light, of omnipresent love, of omnipresent good, that wholeness and well-being and abundance are here. They're at hand, and they're just waiting for us to accept it in order to blossom in our lives. when we first are introduced to that idea, it's like, I don't know. That just sounds, I don't know. Magical thinking, maybe? Not sure. Because what we've experienced, what we've known, and I'm talking about, the majority of people, is illusion, separation, powerlessness, this roller coaster ride of happiness and unhappiness. Oh, that's reality, right? That's the standard. That's what everybody is experiencing. So that must be real. But not. Not. It's just shadows reflected on a wall of a dark cave. And we just haven't seen the light yet. We haven't yet fully experienced the light. We haven't yet fully experienced our power and our oneness. We haven't yet fully had the experience of that indwelling presence. Well, some of us have. In fact, I think probably the majority of us here have probably had the experience, at least, some degree of this world of light, of infinite love, of omnipresent peace. And it's like, oh, I get it. And then we sneak down into that cave, into the world of shadows. And then we go, oh, no, whoa, wait. Omnipresent good, omnipresent love, divine here. And then we get kind of sucked into the shadow. And sort of we kind of go back and forth. Why? Because there's huge resistance to accepting a different paradigm, particularly one that's not obvious. And it's not obvious, It's not always obvious. And our ego wants to keep us safe, Our ego does not want us to explore any other possibility. Doesn't want us to go there. We don't know how that other world works. We know how this world works. So it wants to kind of keep us safe. But if we persist, if we activate our power of courage, if we rise above the voice of the ego and open to the possibility that there is a greater reality, a whole limitless world opens up to us. And when we adjust to this, when we adjust our eyes to this bright world, when we become acclimated to this, finally, we can release the shadows, leave the cave behind. What freedom! What freedom! Ernest Holmes, who, Science of Mind, most of you know that's the sister organization to Unity. He wrote, when the illusion of opposites disappears from our mental perception and we come to realize that we are whole, we shall be made whole. So, how do we get out of the cave in the first place? How do we get out of there? Well, I think it involves a lot of trust. We got to trust that voice of the divine, that inner divine voice, our inner wisdom. Trust it and, move forward even though we really can't see completely. Move forward in the dark. And I think, having a guide is good. Having a guide, someone who's been there, someone who lives in a world of light, someone who lives in that omnipresent peace and that omnipresent love. And this could be, the master teachers whatever you resonate to, Jesus, Buddha, Krishna, Green Tara, Any of the mystics or, poets that you resonate with? Spiritual leaders, teachers, prayer team leaders, your mentors, your spiritual teachers. Spiritual leaders can, point to what's possible, show you what's possible, and maybe even, tell you how to get there. But you need to trust your own inner wisdom and take the journey, step forward into the unknown. Right? And then when you begin to see a brighter, more expansive reality, give your eyes a little time to adjust. Breathe. Let's all breathe together. Breathe into it. Relax into it. One step at a time. Take it slow. And then when you're fully acclimated, it's time to release the illusion of the shadows, which is not always easy to do, as I was mentioning earlier, because of a little thing called chemicalization. Ever heard of chemicalization? That's Charles Fillmore's word, his term for this phenomena. And he says about it, a condition in the mind that is brought about by the conflict that takes place when a high spiritual realization contacts an old error state of consciousness. Whenever a new spiritual idea is introduced into the mind, some negative belief is disturbed and it resists. Darn. Oh, so annoying. Hate it when that happens. Yeah, I know. So it's not really the belief that resists. It's the ego, right? It's the ego that does not want us to really grow. I don't know. That's too scary out there. Let's come back here. We know this. It wants to keep us safe. Or it could be an unhealed shadow self. An unhealed shadow self that has some investment in keeping things the way that they are now, regardless of how painful or dark that might be. There's some gain there for it. So we want to take a look at that. So again, consistent practice, consistent spiritual practice, like meditation, journaling, working with the 12 powers is really good with this. Forgiveness, forgiving others, forgiving ourselves. Working with the shadow self, identifying, embracing, healing that shadow self. And by the way, if you want to do that kind of work, I've actually recorded a guided meditation about meeting the shadow self and healing the shadow self. It's free to you. It's on my website, which is breakthrough2.com. You can just download it and give yourself a good half hour or so to sit down and work with that. All of these are helpful in helping us to work through that chemicalization process, to work through it, to really, kind of get to that place where we are okay, where our ego's saying, okay, it's okay, I get it, this is all right, this is okay, I'm feeling safe now, I can grow a little bit, I can be here, and then we release the old paradigm and open to a new reality. The only reality, the reality that we are infinite divine beings expressing inherently good, inherently love, inherently peace, inherently whole, inherently joyous, creative, divine, amazing beings. That's the reality we want to walk into, step into, and begin to embrace. So I would like to do a little guided meditation with you right now to walk out of that cave into the light. If you'd like to do this with me, I invite you to do this with me. I think Hudson's got a little background music for us. They'll set the tone. So if you would just sit back, relax, close your eyes. Take some nice deep breaths. Relax your body, feeling your heart center, that love and feeling of safety and oneness right there, right inside in your heart center. Breathe into that for a moment. And now bring to mind your current experience, your current life. You know, not the thing that you want to have, or the thing that you're working towards, but your current experience. Just bring it to mind, all the areas of your life. And some of those areas might indeed reflect an expansive awareness. It might reflect that world of light. If so, yay, acknowledge yourself for that. You've been able to open in that area. Yay. But look at some of the other areas of your life that may feel a little more constricted, that may feel a little more painful, that may not be reflective of that light. So areas of your life like relationships, physical health and well-being, your finances, mental and emotional well-being, your level of inner peace. And so if you are seeing any of those areas, there might be one or two that are not fully open and reflective of this reality of wholeness and oneness. I just invite you to see it as a shadow reflected on the wall. Just see it right now. There's a shadow reflected on a dark cave wall. Remember, all shadows are reflections of fearful thinking, or just mistaken thinking. You know, as I've said here many times, all form and experience has its origins in mind, in consciousness. That's where it all starts, in consciousness. So just look at that for a moment. Breathe. Keep breathing. And now imagine that some divine angelic being, a divine guide, an angelic being, whatever it is for you, is coming into this cave where you are, is greeting you. Take a moment to see what that angelic or divine guide looks like. It's just a vibration of unconditional love for you. Just unconditional love. Embracing the totality of you. And feel this guide or this angelic being just gently releasing any chains that might be there, letting those go, and telling you that there is a world a bright, beautiful, expansive reality where there's freedom and joy and omnipresent good and omnipresent love and wholeness and well-being and loving relationships and infinite peace. And you maybe don't know yet at first. Maybe there's a little doubt in there. Maybe there's oh, well, I can see that in these other areas of my life, but in this one, maybe not. Hard for me to see it in there. Just again, breathe through that. Breathe through that but. Leave that but behind. And just trust. Just trust. And take this angelic being's hand and let him or her or it walk you out of the cave. And you're feeling the warmth of the sun, and your eyes still haven't adjusted. Give them time to adjust. And when they're adjusted, you look around and you see this world of expansive good, that everything this being has been telling you is true. Omnipresent love, omnipresent good, omnipresent joy, wholeness, well-being. It's right here. You breathe it in, breathe it in. Say yes to it. Yes, yes. I accept this. I accept this. I'm ready to leave those shadows behind now. I am ready to leave the shadow behind. And I make a choice right now. I make a choice to accept this. And when I forget, when I see a shadow, I'm just going to remember that that's just a reflection. It's just a reflection of some fear or misguided thinking. It's okay. It's just temporary. It's just a temporary manifestation. I am grounded and open to the reality of infinite, limitless love. A wholeness, abundance, well-being, infinite good. That's what I choose. And just have a little bow of gratitude to this divine being, your guide. Breathing in this new expansive reality. You say, thank you, and so it is. When you're ready, open your eyes, stretch a little bit. How'd that feel? Good. Feeling that light, that new, brilliant reality. Remember, it's a choice. Forgive yourself when you forget. And just remind. Just come back to the choice. All right. Thank you. Namaste.
Hope you never lose that sense of wonder. Get your fill to eat, but keep that hunger. Maybe you take one single breath for granted. God forbid love ever leave you empty-handed. I hope you still feel small when standing by the ocean. When one door closes, I hope one more opens. Promise me that you'll give fate a fighting chance. Get the choice to sit it out or dance. I hope you dance. I hope you dance. I hope you dance. I hope you dance. Hope you never fear those mountains in the distance. Never settle for the path of least resistance. Living might be taking chances, but it's worth it. Loving might be a mistake, but it's worth it. Don't let some disturbed heart leave you bitter. When you come too close to selling out, reconsider. Give the heavens above more than just a passing glance. You get the choice to sit it out or dance. I hope you 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 dance. Don't let some disturbed heart leave you bitter. Come close to selling out, reconsider. Give the heavens above one more passing glance. And you get the choice to sit it out or dance. I hope you dance. I hope you dance. I hope you dance. I hope you dance.
And I want to take it one step further. I know you dance. All y'all. My heart is full. I hope yours is as well. And in this, the dancing, the playing, the singing, the being, the beings, as Reverend Victoria guided us through, connecting with, it's that stepping out into more of who you truly are, who we all truly are, that makes a difference. And since you are connecting here, this community is part of your journey currently. So I invite you to join me in gifting through this community. There are various ways to do that. If you're in person, you've got sustainer cards, envelopes, more information in the program. If you're online, you'll be seeing that as well. But the key thing is you're giving a part of that love, that dance, that play, that beingness that is you. And it moves through this community and goes out through the world. So in whatever form you are giving, whatever that is, would you hold that and join me with our blessing, which is on the order of service or on the screen. And it is at the bottom of the first page. You see it under blessing of gifts. Would you hold that? You can hold it to your heart. And let's say this and feel this together. Together, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, all that I receive, and all that I am.
Happy and joyful I am filled. Happy and joyful I am filled. I'm ready for my blessings, so much love and gives it still. Happy and joyful I am. Happy and joyful I am filled. I'm aware of all my blessings, so much good can't sit still. Happy and joyful I am. Happy and joyful I am. I'm aware of all my blessings, so much peace I can't sit still. Happy and joyful I am.
Thank you. All right, feeling that love energy pouring through you from that infinite source, through your heart and out through your hands. If you would direct them here and just bless these offerings, these expressions of love and support for this community, knowing that it goes out and helps to support and create joyous services like we have today, and classes and so much more, and we tithe it out to the community, and it returns to the giver, pressed down, running over, and abundant good. And so it is. Thank you. Yes. And hello. Is there anybody who is visiting us for the first time today who wandered in? Yeah. Well, just raise your hand. Hi. Good to have you here. And you back there. Mary's going to put a little thing in your hand that has, right here, that has a little card on the outside, a purple card. If you'd fill out on both sides and return it to her, there's a free gift for you in that, and we so enjoy having you here. Thank you for being here. We usually have some refreshments out on the patio after the service, and that's really a good time for you to get to know us, for us to get to know you, and just have some fellowship. So thank you for being here. We appreciate it. All right, one more time. Ernest Collins.
I can see clearly now the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gonna the dark clouds that had me blind. Gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. sunshiny day. I think I can make it now, the pain is gone. All of the bad feelings have disappeared. Here is that rainbow I've been praying for. Gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. Look all around, nothing but blue sky. Look straight ahead, nothing but blue sky. I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that up and me by. Gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. Gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. Look all around, nothing but blue sky. Straight ahead, nothing but blue sky. I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Here is that rainbow I've been praying for. Gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. A bright, bright, sunshiny day. Gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day.
Well, now you have no excuse for dancing because you got the music and everything. So, all right. So it is the first Sunday of the month. So I think we have a tradition here. Can anybody guess what that might be? Yes. Birthdays, yes. And I know we have at least one in the house that is actually today. Reverend Victoria. And who else is having a November birthday? Online? You want to put it in the chat? All right. Got Cheryl and Susie. So to be inclusive, we're going to sing happy birthday and we're going to use November birthdays instead of the name, unless you can get them all in at once. Go for it. I can't do that many syllables at once.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, November birthdays. Happy birthday to
And I hear tell that there is birthday cake to be had. That will be outside afterwards. Sorry, folks, online, we haven't figured out how to deliver it through Facebook and YouTube. But, well, also if you're in person, this we still haven't figured out either, is the YOU is having a bake sale, continuing their bake sale. Next to Farmer Doug, near the CSA and the UCP parking lot, because they're going on an awesome trip, which I actually know somebody who was just coming into the space, read it and said, oh, I want to go. They happen to be 32, so there you go. So get your treats on, head out to the parking lot afterwards. I feel like I'm on the news. Anybody want to do the I don't have a teleprompter, though, so you're going to have to bear with me on the page. So also in November, part of our gratitude and part of bringing back the black. and this is in finances, not anything else, so just queuing it up. We're having our GoFundMe campaign, and to stage right, to my left, there's one here. This is one of the possible things. If you hit a certain tier, there's a poster for those of you in person that gives you all the ideas of what you could get in return for giving. And those of you online, you're probably seeing it as well. But if you haven't noticed, we've had this little thing called a pandemic happening. It's kind of turned things in different ways. So one of those things is part of supporting this community. So this is one of those ways. And those wise people in the leadership of Unity Center of Peace have decided that they would kick this off this month. So by the end of the month, you could have something that could be a possible gift that you could give if you are into the end of the year, Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah. They are of light, so that works too. Whatever gifting you do in December.
And they're lights. You're sharing the light.
You're sharing the light. Thank you, Maria. So there you go. And Chris Geith has been leading this. She has done a number of things outside, and the latest iteration is a mindful outdoor experience. And from what I've heard from last month, it was wonderful. So this month, in keeping with the theme of the month, or theme, the gratitude end of it, you could release as well. Being outside, you release oxygen, release carbon dioxide, take in oxygen. Sorry, I was thinking from the tree's perspective. When you're all one, you got to remember where to come back to. So, if you would like to partake of that, that is next Sunday after the service. If you would find a stone about fist size, so you can participate in that. And there's more information in the announcements, so you check out the e-news and all of that, and also on our website. Thank you, Chris, for doing that. Also, to help celebrate, get into the Thanksgiving mood, community is part of that. And on November 21st, after the service, via Zoom, so everybody can participate, we are going to have a UCP fall community meeting. So that's 1:30 p.m. Eastern time for those of you that are not in our time zone that are streaming this. So you can find out the inner workings, what's going on. You'll hear from the Board of Trustees and Reverend Victoria. There's also what we have planned for the holidays and what's going on into next year. So it's a sneak peek into what's rolling down the pike. And if you would, go to our website and register for it so we just have an idea of who's coming and all of that. All right. I'm going to keep trying to run these through because we have so many wonderful things. You heard Reverend Victoria talk about how we mistake the shadows for the life that we think we want to live. So one of the key tools that we have in Unity is affirmative prayer. And we have somebody in our midst that is very steeped in this. And we also have an awesome prayer team that has all kinds of chaplains that have been trained up. Reverend Pat Venema is offering a prayer chaplain training, November 29th through December 20th, which is, they're going to be a series of Zoom classes. So if you are feeling rusty in it or curious about affirmative prayer, please go. You can ask Reverend Victoria, myself, or Reverend Pat when she's here more about it, but it's a way to really deepen your experience and how you get to choose your life. So I encourage you to go check that out. And then you can check us out on social media. We're in a lot of places. So you check that out. And finally, this is not on social media, 3-minute miracles. This is, if there's something on your heart, in your head, that is just not settling in that space where you want to be, we have wonderful trained prayer partners which have gone through that chaplain training that I just spoke of. And today, Pat Webster is going to be our wonderful prayer partner in that. Just takes 3 minutes. Will you be inside, outside, or?
In the lobby.
You'll be in the lobby, so connect when you see her, connect with her, and then if you feel more comfortable outside, you can go outside or go to the back room. And also, if you're online, you can send an email to prayer@unitychapelhill.org. You're probably seeing it on the screen, and we will call you and pray with you as well. So with that, let's bring it on in with our theme of the month, which is also release. We're going to release this out through our prayer of protection with I am statements. So would you stand with me you can stand if you're streaming as well, if you have the space, depending where you are. And let's say those with I am statements. And I'm just trying to remember the first one. Yes, the light. All right, together. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
There be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. God has created and we all agree. Let me be with my friends in perfect harmony. Peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. Every breath I take, let this be my joyful vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and
And so it is.
Thank you. Oh, thank you.